Bum 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 bada bum 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 bada bum bum. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we are featuring on our podcast Spillin the Tea, the beverage kind, that is, with your host. Please presenting the wonderful, the renowned Miss C.K. Clark McGinnis. Thank you. Miss Clark McGinnis. Thank you. I know I need help. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I have just now unboxed my brand new tea. And this particular episode of our friendly neighborhood Average Joe's podcast, which is anything but, yeah, and eventually I will be on camera, but not now. But we are now talking about our corn silk tea imported all the way from South Korea. And you know what? It tastes like liquid popcorn. Unsweetened, fresh, roasted corn, roasted rice, roasted corn, roasted silk some corn. Yep, and it's a beautiful sip. You shall hear it right now. Ooh, yeah. You know how it is when y'all eat popcorn and you taste those like loose kernel thingies that are floating around in your mouth and you gotta spit some in them out? Yep, it tastes just like liquid popcorn. And you've had sweet popcorn before, or sweet and salty popcorn before, so I'm probably gonna do like a sweet salty to try this in the tea. And speaking of tea, this episode of the Average Joe's podcast, and Average Joe's podcast, I gotta get the name right, and Average Joe's podcast, it's not sponsored by anybody, it's sponsored by me, yours truly, author of the book Jersey Dogs, McGinnis Pedregon, casebook number 1, descriptions in the show notes, and as well as my first foray into being an anthology. My first short story ever called Punxsutawney Kill. Go have a read. Also linked in the show notes. And we're going to be talking about all things tea today. Dishing the dish on the tea. And how tea all over the world is either enjoyed with a little bit of dash of milk in it, some honey in it, dash of rum if that's your thing, or around here in these parts in the United States of America, such as it is, people love their sweet tea, and by sweet tea they will dump a whole bag of Domino sugar up in that shit and spritz it with some tea. And yeah, would you like some tea with your sugar? No, I don't do that sugar shit. Nope, not as much as I used to do back in the day. But yeah, a little sweetened tea is right up my alley on a nice hot day. You get that cold tea running down your gullet, and especially Arizona cold tea. I love cold tea. I love hot tea. And my mama, God rest her soul, introduced me to tea when I was no more than a little bitty kid, 9 years old. I was home from school. And then you only had maybe 15 types of teas. I didn't know anything about Celestial Seasonings. I didn't know nothing about Twinnings. I didn't know nothing about Harney and Sons. I didn't know nothing about this thing called O-Food from South Korea for their corn silk tea. I didn't know anything about it. All I knew was Lipton and Tetley. That was it. Okay, and then when I was older and got introduced to Celestial Seasonings, I was like, ooh, what is this? And then discovered Bigelow, and then discovered Harney and Sons, and then discovered all different and Twinnings, and all different and Celestial Seasonings, and all different types of teas, and I love them all. I love them all, and I'm sure you guys have your favorites among your favorites as well. For me, Bigelow is Lemon Lift, and I love lemon. Tazo and their Zen tea and orange tea, y'all gotta try that. And their apple tea is so good, and the peach tea is good too. Pure Leaf was trying their cherry hibiscus tea drink, y'all. That is some good shit. Now, mind you, I'm not trying to plug nothing for the corporatocracy running this country into the ground, mind you. Okay, but And I poured some fresh hot water in it so I can't sip it like I did last time around. But it is good. And as I understand, the corn silk tea is supposed to bring you some great dreams. It's supposed to bring you some balance and harmony and recalibrating you and things like that. But it's good. This is actually pretty good. 30 bags, Amazon, one great big cup. Yep, corn silk tea, Casper Friendly Ghost, and me. Just stop. My favorites among the Harney and Sons. Stop, I really should. My favorite among the Harney and Sons is the Earl Grey with the bergamot and something else in it. Earl Grey, it's in a beautiful canister, one of those keepsake type canisters. The raspberry tea, the winter white tea, Earl Grey Extreme, and they make a hella spearmint tea. I'll give you that. Way better, in my opinion, than Celestial Seasonings. Spearmint tea. Harney and Son spearmint tea is so good. Downside, it's loose. No bags, no satchels. You got to find a satchel and put some of those leaves in there and do it yourself. But the smell is amazing. Oh my God, I love that tea. So anyway, I was 9 and I was home from school and my mother set me up with milk and sugar. First time I ever had a cup of tea. And I'm like, okay, sure, I'll try it. She said, you want some lemon in it? Like, okay. So she puts the lemon in it and gives me my tea. And I see pieces, white pieces floating in it. I'm like, Mommy, why is there white pieces floating in here? She said, because when you mix milk with lemon, lemon curdles the milk. And that's the milk fat the lemon is curdling. Oh, okay. So, I don't combine milk with lemon and honey anymore. Milk with lemon, honey, and tea. No. If you want lemon in your tea, get lemon tea. Okay. Just get a bag of lemon tea. You're good to go with that. And you get yourself some the Bigelow I Love Lemon or Lemon Lift tea with the Tazo orange. Whoa, talk about heaven, y'all. Oh, it's good. It's so good. Okay, another tea that I'm wild about. I've had raspberry lemon, both from Harney and Sons and Bigelow. And yeah, the same Bigelow that did the whole flying a plane and all that other, the daughter's running the empire now, some such. And I think her dad's name was Steve or something like that. But this particular tea is from South Korea, imported, and a company called Daesang out of Bridgewater, New Jersey, right next door to this Keystone State. And yeah, sipping a beautiful hot cup of corn silk tea on a 25-degree January day. Life is good. And no thank you and y'all already know the story about the Boston tea tax and the Boston Tea Party and the whole bit. They tossed the tea in the water, not because of the fact that they were paying tax on the tea. They were getting sick of King George's rules. And getting sick of basically being governed by somebody 3,000 miles away when they got their own shit over here. So we're not paying a tax on something that's been waterlogged. And that's the start of the that which you know now is the Revolutionary War. Which also, by the way, and this is where you're going to spill the tea a little bit, we had both sides helping in that war, you know. Russia and China were helping both sides of that war, although the history books don't tell you that. Same thing with the Civil War, too. Yep. Russia and China. Because both countries didn't want to see us free. Why not? And they were basically grabbing King George by the balls at the time and said, what you gonna do about them upstarts over there in the so-called New World? All right, fine. Russia had one ball, China had the other. And when you're getting them squeezed simultaneously, yeah, that shit kind of hurts. So, different parts of the world love their teas in different ways. You Brits, though, I gotta love you peoples. Every 3 o'clock afternoon, not a problem. Y'all will drop everything. Put on a spot, put on a kettle. Put on some water. Have a cup. Have a sleep. I love it. Absolutely love it. You gotta love that shit. Why? Everybody can use a nice cup of tea on occasion. It doesn't hurt. Don't cost a dime. Well, I mean, it'll cost you maybe the price in tea, but have some conversation, have a sleep, have a nice scone with the tea, have a nice biscuit with the tea. They don't call them tea biscuits for nothing. And, have a nice social time with the tea. People reading tea leaves and things. People reading coffee grounds and things. I mean, there's something about tea, particularly green tea, that it also, if you get those little bags of the Zen tea, put them on your eyes, brings down the swelling. As well as white tea, the color white, that is not whitey, but white tea, okay? And then there's black tea, and then there's green tea. Now, factoid. Fun fact, which is stronger? A, green tea and having more caffeine. B, white tea. Or C, black tea. While you're sitting there thinking about that, ding 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 ding. Your time is almost up. So come on, guess. Come on, your time is almost up. A, white tea, B, green tea, or C, black tea. And our answer is Chip. Green tea. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Green tea has more caffeine in it than black tea and white tea combined. Why? Because it's still in its rawest form. It is in its rawest form. White tea is very light, very airy, very fluffy if without the fluff. And it's got a full body, but that's it. It's got just enough full body and just enough full flavor without making it more than it already is. It's like cornstalk tea, but on the lighter side. But yeah, green tea has a lot more caffeine in it than either black tea and white tea. White tea is the least, green is the most. Surprised me too, didn't it? Ginger tea is super good. Ginger tea is super good, and it also settles your stomach. Because if you chew on some ginger, and if you got an upset stomach, and if you got no Pepto in the house, find some ginger, go to your neighborhood supermarket, find that ginger root, slice a piece of that ginger off, have a chew, and in 20 minutes you're fine. Yep, you want it quicker? Get it in tea. Or you take some of that ginger root, right? Slice some up, boil some water, drink it in that way form. Just make sure you wash it first. And it'll settle your stomach in less than a half hour. And by the time I'm done drinking this cup, I think I will close out that podcast too. Perfect timing, wouldn't it be? Wouldn't you know it? Anyway, interesting also too about tea. Turn around the letters in word tea. T-E-A. Eats. T-E-A. Eight. A-T-E. Eats. E-A-T. And E-T-A. Estimated time of arrival. So, wars have been fought over for tea. Fortunes have been made and lost over tea. And it depends on what it is that's ailing you. Tea, for more medicinal reasons, is much more beneficial than coffee is. Coffee and tea have their own... coffee has its place, but tea is far more beneficial medicinally than coffee could be. Coffee is just more social, like booze is. But at least booze has a medicinal purpose, and tea does too. And coffee, maybe dead last, and it's a good pick-me-up, but it'll catch up eventually. Or put another way, you can always make tea out of leaves. Where do you find coffee grounds to make coffee? How do you boil down that bean? Exactly. But anyway, you know me. I love a good fight. I love a good argument. So, leave me some notes in the show notes. And leave me some comments. Like, share, subscribe. You hear me? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Leave me some notes. Okay? Let me know what your favorite teas are. I'd love to hear what kind of favorite teas you guys have. How old were you when you first started being introduced to tea? What's your favorite tea? I'm not a big fan, honestly, of oolong. I tried it. Nah. Darjeeling either. Nah. Twinings is good, but you know which one is good? The Earl Grey. Surprisingly, the decaf is better than the caffeinated. What other teas have I had? Let's see. Celestial Seasonings, Bigelow, Harney and Sons. Harney and Sons, Lipton. That's 4. Twinings, that's 5. I will tell you though, the nastiest tea I've ever tried, Tetley. Never again. Never again. And no. There's something about the Tetley tea. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But it's got this weird, flat, dead taste to it. That's like, yeah, no. Tetley, I don't do. I tried one time gunpowder tea. Yeah, no. That's not me. That's not me. That's not me, although I love the smell of gunpowder. And turpentine. And gasoline. And kerosene. And lacquer. And spray paint. And regular paint. And varnish. Let's not forget varnish. What other tea do I like? Oh, shoot. Lipton's okay, but they've since fallen off the radar ever since more and more teas came up. I've not tried teas from around the world. This corn silk tea is my very first. And I must say, I'm quite impressed. I've never tried pressed flowers tea. I've never tried anything that's made of tea leaves outside of tea leaves. Excuse me. But for the most part, tea's good, hot or cold. I don't care. I mean, hot or cold, sweet or not. It's really good. And the one food source that will never, ever go to, even if you had it for 25 years, still stuck in that shelf 25 years ago, go find that honey. Honey's got antibacterial properties in it and no water either, and enzymes too that prevent spoilage. Told you God knows what he's doing. So, yeah, go grab yourself a cup of tea. It makes you feel better when you're sick as a dog, or calm you down from a nightmare or whatever, and or got some late night shit or some real heavy stuff to gotta talk about. Have a nice talk over a cup of tea, because you're gonna spill it eventually. I know I'm weird like that. Anyhow, thanks for being here again. I really appreciate all y'all. And, thanks for spilling the tea with me. And I'm going to try to end up on 1919, because I love all that numerology shit. Anyway, find me in the show notes. And all my information's down there. Look below the description line. Shoot me over an email. And as always, be good, take care of yourselves, love one another, take care of you always, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And as I often say, your hostess is out. Missy K. Clark McGinnis is out. Bye, guys.